1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Danushka Madavela and read by Mario Vijayavardhana. The headlines. The review of appeals and objections for the Aswasuma beneficiary program will be finalized within this month. The Water Supply and Drainage Board urges the public to use water sparingly. The fourth session of the Mobile Motor Traffic Service has commenced in Kurunegala today. Minister Douglas Devananda says actions will be taken to control the illegal fishing methods used with gunpowder and dynamite. India assures its fullest support in furthering defence cooperation. Remittances from expat workers pass $3 billion. In foreign news, Hawaii fires deadliest natural disaster in state history. In sports news, PSG boss Luis Enrique hopes club can find agreement with Kylian Mbappe. State Minister Ranjit Siamalapitia says that review of appeals and objections for the Aswasuma beneficiary program will be finalized within this month. More than 1.2 million appeals and more than 100,000 objections have been received to review. The State Minister said that the final number of beneficiaries would be 2 million at the end of the review. There are more than 800,000 families who are already selected but requested to upgrade for a higher beneficiary scheme and will be paid with the amount under the scheme which they were originally selected. 1.28 million Samurdhi beneficiary families are selected for the Aswasuma scheme. The aim of the Aswasuma scheme is to pay benefits to 2 million families. 1.3 million account details have received for the scheme and other account details are being entered into the system. The State Minister further said that the new account opening is undergoing with state banks at present. The Water Supply and Drainage Board urges the public to use water sparingly. There is a severe water shortage at present due to the prevailing dry weather conditions of the country. Water levels of the irrigational tanks have reduced drastically and the demand for water has increased. The Water Board says that water is essential for everyone and requests not to waste water by any means and to stop using water for non-essential activities. Minister Douglas Devananda says action will be taken to control the illegal fishing methods using gunpowder and dynamite. A special meeting was called recently to discuss matters relating to this. The minister instructed the Fisheries Ministry Secretary Indu Rathnayaka to prepare a cabinet paper in this regard. Severe damage has reported to the marine life in Trincomalee, Kalpitiya and the Mannar areas and in the southern province as well. The minister instructed the officials to inform the Defence Ministry and the district secretaries in this regard to take the necessary action. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
A comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you.
The fourth session of the Mobile Motor Traffic Service has commenced in Kurunegala today. The Mobile Motor Traffic Service is being conducted at the Sir John Kotalabala College today and tomorrow from 8:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. It will be conducted together by the Department of Motor Traffic, the Northwestern Province DMT Office and the Kurunegala District Divisional Secretariat. Several services are to be offered during the planned Mobile Motor Traffic Service. Minister Dr. Bandula Gudavardhana participated as the chief guest of today's session. India has assured its fullest support in furthering defence cooperation between the two countries. The newly appointed Deputy Indian High Commissioner in Colombo, Dr. Satyanjal Pandey, conveyed this after paying a courtesy call on the Secretary to the Ministry of Defence, General Kamal Gunaratne, the Defence Ministry. The Indian diplomat, accompanied by Defence Advisor Captain Vikas Sood and the Assistant Defence Advisor Lieutenant Colonel Puneet Sushil, was extended a warm welcome by the Defence Secretary and held cordial discussions relating to the matters of mutual interest and bilateral importance. The Defence Secretary General Gunaratne, conveying his support from the Sri Lankan side, also extended the best wishes to Dr. Pandey for his future endeavours. Sri Lanka has received more than $3 billion as remittances from expat workers so far in the year 2023. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka said workers' remittances in the month of July were recorded as $541 million. This is an increase of more than $261 million in comparison to July 2022. Sri Lanka received $279.5 million as remittances in July 2022. Meanwhile, the cumulative figure from January to July this year is $3,363.6 million. The Mannar District Secretary Ms. Nandini Standardimel said that all preparations have been completed for the annual August festival of Our Lady of Madhu in Mannar. She further informs that the infrastructural facilities such as transport, accommodation, medical, health, security and drinking water have been provided for the benefit of the devotees coming to the Madhu shrine. The director of the Mannar Diocese and Social Communication Centre, Reverend Father Selvanathan, said that more than 200,000 people have pitched tents in the Madhu shrine. The annual August festival of the Mannar Our Lady of Madhu started with a flag hoisted on the 6th of this month. The Holy Rosary and Mass is offered every evening. Special Eucharistic services and blessings will be given to the devotees on the 14th of this month, and the festival Mass will be consecrated by the bishops at 6:15 a.m. on the 15th.
Elevate your life with People's Bank Excelsior. A comprehensive banking services package with a branded checkbook as well as debit and credit card exclusively for you.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe has unveiled an ambitious plan aimed at revolutionizing Sri Lanka's agricultural sector. The proposed initiative involves the establishing of an agricultural modernization task force, which is set to encompass all crops and sectors within the industry. Addressing the critical need for collaboration between the government and the private sector, the task force is anticipated to pave the way for comprehensive agricultural reforms. President Wickremesinghe's vision extends beyond crop cultivation to encompass animal husbandry in due course. The task force will include representatives from relevant government departments and select private sector entities, reflecting the need for a multifaceted approach in the pursuit of this ambitious agricultural modernization program. The President highlighted the critical importance of modernizing the agricultural support system as a foundational step. Speaking with determination, the President underscored that to achieve the envisioned transformation in the agricultural sector, a comprehensive overhaul of the support mechanisms is imperative.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Watch Live is brought to you by
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
State Finance Minister Dr. Ranjit Siyamlapita told Parliament yesterday that vehicles can be seized by banks and leasing companies in the case of non-payment of dues only with the consent of the current owner of the vehicle. He said that vehicles with defaulted instalment payments are not seized under private law. The minister said this in Parliament yesterday, making a statement regarding the parade law. The minister emphasised that under parade powers, a bank or financial institution can seize property only if the relevant loan amount exceeds 5 million rupees.
CIB Janajaya Vasana. Unbelievable discounts and offers throughout August from CIB Janajaya Vasana. Come today itself.
And now in world news headlines, Hawaii fires deadliest natural disaster in state history. Judge Checkdown warns Trump against inflammatory remarks before trial. Italy could host Musk versus Zuckerberg cage fight. The Hawaii wildfires have reached a grim milestone as the death toll rose to 67, making the deadliest natural disaster in the state's history. Hundreds more have been reported missing and the toll may still rise. It comes as Lahaina residents are being allowed to briefly return home on Friday to take stock of the damage to their fire-ravaged town. They returned amid warnings they would be greeted by destruction like they've never seen in their lives. State officials reopened Lahaina to people with proof of residency on Friday for the first time since flames swept rapidly through early this week, razing much of the historic town. A federal judge has warned former US President Donald Trump against making inflammatory statements which could taint the jury pool ahead of his trial for conspiring to overturn the result of the 2020 election. But Judge Tanya Checkdown ruled that Mr. Trump can publicly share some of the more sensitive evidence which prosecutors disclosed to his legal team. Friday's ruling was a blow to the special counsel who had expressed concern Mr. Trump might reveal secret material and intimate witnesses. At a 90-minute hearing in Washington, D.C., the judge said the historic case was proceeding as normal. He is a criminal defendant. He is going to have restrictions like every single other defendant, she said. A planned cage fight between tech leaders Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg could now take place in Italy and have an ancient Rome theme. In the story's latest twist, Italy's culture minister on Friday said that he had spoken to Mr. Musk about hosting the showdown as a charity event. The billionaire CEOs of Tesla and Meta have been goading each other into the fight since June. If it goes ahead, millions are expected to be donated to children's hospitals. However, Mr. Zuckerberg has said no date has been agreed so far. Detailing his vision on social media platform X, Mr. Musk said he had spoken to both Italy's Prime Minister and its culture minister. And now the main points of the world news segment once again. Hawaii fires deadliest natural disaster in state history. Judge Checkdown warns Trump against inflammatory remarks before trial. Italy could host Musk versus Zuckerberg cage fight.
Development News is brought to you by
Job opportunities from Deshakti Lanka in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Oman, including company housemaid, salary 156,000 rupees, 23 to 57 years. Contact 037 7500 500.
A 2-kilometre new rail track from the Anuradhapura main railway station to the Mihintale junction will be constructed for direct train operations between Anuradhapura and Mihintale. The current rail line to Mihintale branches off from the main northern line at the Mihintale junction. Once a 2-kilometre line is constructed, trains can be operated daily and directly from Anuradhapura to Mihintale without taking the northern line for turning at the current Mihintale junction.
Job opportunities for women from Deshakti Lanka in Saudi Arabia, Kuwait and Oman. Company housemaids, caretakers and home cooks in Saudi Arabia for ages 23 to 57 years. Salary starting from 156,000 rupees. Interviews are now on with foreign agents. You can now travel overseas free of charge. Branches: Colombo, Kurunegala, Anuradhapura and Mathura. Contact number 037 7500 500. Deshakti Lanka Foreign Development Agency.
And now in sports news, PSG boss Luis Enrique hopes the club will find an agreement with Kylian Mbappe and confirm the deal for Ousmane Dembele was 99% done. France striker Mbappe is not training with PSG's first team squad after saying he would not extend his deal with the club beyond next summer. PSG want to sell Mbappe rather than let him leave for free when his deal ends. Mbappe was set to leave on a free transfer at the end of the 2021-2022 season, but ultimately signed a 2-year contract extension with the option of a further 12 months. But the 24-year-old has now told the club he has no intention of agreeing to that year-long add-on and is widely believed to be aiming to join Real Madrid for free in 2024. Mbappe was left out of PSG's touring squad for their pre-season trip to Asia.
Go ekakthiyana youth eකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Ceylon Bank has demonstrated exceptional resilience and growth in challenging market conditions, recording an impressive profit before tax of 4.2 billion rupees, a 104.65% increase for first half of 2023 compared to the same period in 2022. In addition, the bank achieved a commendable profit after tax of 2.6 billion rupees, a 71.29% growth over the corresponding period in the previous year. The overall statutory liquid assets ratio was 32.3% as of first half of 2023, ensuring the ability to meet and exceed regulatory requirements and support operations effectively.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
Go ekakthiyana youth එකට life එකේ change එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න ඇස් වහගෙන දැකපු ගීන හැබැ කරන්න youth එකට නියමෙට set වෙන්න friendship එක මෙන්න.
The all-new NSB Ithru account, NSB IM, a plan for your dream.
The average weighted prime lending rate at licensed commercial banks has reduced by further 29 basis points to 16.67% this week. According to data from the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the AWPR at commercial banks was 16.96% last week, while it was high as 25.31% a year ago. The considerable reduction comes after the Monetary Board reduced the policy interest rate during the 2 consecutive months. And now for the weather report. Several spells of showers will occur in the western and Sabaragawa provinces at the Gala, Mathura, Kandy and Nuwara districts. Showers of thundershowers will occur at several places in the eastern, Uva and northern provinces during the evening or night. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere over the island. That was the weather report, and now the headlines of this news broadcast once again. The review of appeals and objections for the Aswesuma beneficiary program will be finalized within this month. The Water Supply and Drainage Board urges the public to use water sparingly. The 4th session of the Mobile Motor Traffic Service has commenced in Kurunegala today. Minister Douglas Devananda says action will be taken to control illegal fishing methods using gunpowder and dynamite. India assures its fullest support in furthering defence cooperation. Remittances from expat workers surpassed $3 billion. In foreign news, Hawaii fires deadliest natural disaster in state history. In sports news, PSG boss Luis Enrique hopes club can find agreement with Kylian Mbappe. That concludes this news broadcast. Now it's back to Chagi Dabare on the other side. Over to you, Chagi.